views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Straight ahead on this edition of Perspectives, you might have seen his artwork on social media. They often depict powerful images of the African diaspora and really speak to social and political issues of today. Stay with us as we meet the man behind these paintings and hear his thoughts on some of the issues that motivated his artwork. That's coming up on this edition of Perspectives with yours truly, Daren Jaime.
What's on your mind?
Let 'em know.
What's on your mind? What's on your mind?
Let 'em know.
Anything relevant to life, you bring it to the table. Whether you make a move solo or a movement with a stable. No fables, you speak on your decisions. Cause in the long run, it's your voice, your views, your vision. Keeping it real with many messages for you to know. This ain't radio, but DJ runs the show. Entertainment, he rocks it. Politics, he locks it. The host with the most would handle any topic. Don't forget to share your perspective with shines of light. Cause it might make a difference in someone else's life.
Make a difference.
What's your perspective?
Express what's in your heart and your mind. Share your perspective.
What's your perspective?
And hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Perspectives. I am Daren Jaime, and of course, we thank you for joining us here on Perspectives. You can catch us every week on BronxNet's Channel 67 and Verizon Fios Channel 33, and of course, on BronxNet.org. But I want to let you know that there's also social media. You can get us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and my professional page, Daren C. Jaime, if you want some inspiration, and we'll stay connected to you. But coming up straight ahead on this edition of Perspectives, we are very pleased to have this young man. He's an American-born artist of Haitian descent who created this particular photo entitled My Brother's Keeper. Now, if you've never seen it, it shows Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. putting his hand over President Trump's mouth as he tweets. The photo went viral and was printed on signs even during the Women's March in January of this year. And joining me now is the man behind the art, Mr. Watson Mir.
How you doing?
Good to have you, man.
Nice to be here.
Glad to have you here on set in person. Good to have you.
I'm happy to be here, man.
Hey, listen, congratulations to you and the great work that you're doing.
Thank
I
you.
want to talk to you for a few minutes about some of your work. And
Okay.
I guess we'll start right off with the one that we just saw, because
Okay.
that was a piece that actually introduced me to you.
Okay.
And a lot of people got introduced to you through that piece with the president and Martin Luther King, with that piece going viral. But talk to me a little bit about this particular piece here and what got you going.
Yeah, really, it was 2017, the election period had happened, and the inauguration was coming up. And I noticed, I knew I wanted to do a Martin Luther King piece during that time, but just the atmosphere of the nation with that inauguration coming up, and it falling in line with Martin Luther King's birthday, I just got to work, and then the vision just came to me, and I just completed it. Didn't really know what the response to it. I knew it would be something interesting that people would be have a few words about, but I honestly did not expect it to hit as hard as it did.
So how far did it hit?
I don't know. I'm learning every day, especially when I have exhibits where people will just come in. They're like, I've seen this, or I've seen this on here, or I've seen this at a rally. It's been on several different protests and rallies. It's been illegally printed on T-shirts and hoodies and things of that nature. But once you put something on the internet, it kind of lose control over it. So it's gone pretty globally, I would say.
Yeah. I want to talk to you a little bit more about your work, because it's work with a message, and every artist has a message, but you do a lot of things that really hit home. And as we said, particularly the African diaspora, what motivates your work?
I would say what motivates my work. I've been creating art ever since I was almost about 2 or 3 years old. Couldn't really speak when I was young. I actually didn't say a word until I was 4 years old. So I had teachers that actually helped me in order to communicate, to teach me how to draw. So it always has been like a natural expression for me. So I've been drawing my entire life. I would say what really sparked everything was 2013, the Trayvon Martin verdict, when George Zimmerman was found not guilty. I just felt this. I always remember that feeling that I got, like this is wrong, like something's got to be done. And I said, what can I do to kind of bring a voice to like how we're feeling as my culture, the Black people as a whole, like how we're feeling about it, it's how we're grieving. What's name of the show? What's our perspective? So that's when I placed a lot of my focus of my art more so on, telling our perspective. How are we viewing these historic things that are happening within these days and times?
Yeah, I want to take a look at some of the work that you've got, and I know our producers got some stuff lined up that will show a couple of your pieces. And as we take a look at them, I want you to give me a little bit about what's going on here, and what do we see?
Okay.
You got one. Okay, here we go, right here. Okay, we'll get over here.
All right.
Yeah. So tell me, what am I seeing here?
This piece here is called not Moment of Clarity. This piece is a J. Cole piece that I did after his recent album, KOD, that came out, King of Overdose. It was really an inspiring album for me, and just off of listening to the album over and over again, this is the vision that basically came into my head. What's going on here? He's kind of one thing he brings up in the album is meditation over medication. Especially in these days and times, like I said, a lot of the youth, they're running to like prescription pills and codeine and all types of drugs to kind of cope with a lot of the trauma that they're really dealing with. And in the album, he talks about practicing things, more healthier things like meditation in order to ease that anxiety and some of the depression that they're dealing with. There's a few more little messages hidden in there as well. But I like to allow people to come up with their own ideas when they look at a piece.
Mm-hmm. And see this one here. What am I looking at?
This one here is called Something Beautiful. This is pretty much the image just saying that, really more so embracing embracing yourself. When you embrace yourself, that kind of kills off any type of hate that may be coming your way. Very powerful piece. This is actually the very first piece that I created that more so got a little traffic behind it. A lot of different perspectives people have of that piece, but I'll say at the foundation of it.
And looking at it, talk to me about the Klan. It looks like somebody the Klan is involved in this too.
Yeah, it's a Klan. When you think about what's the main common denominator in terms of the hatred when it comes to African people and more so of them being themselves is white supremacy, and what's the poster child of white supremacy? It would be a Klansman. So just more so just a Klansman, like her embracing herself just kills off any type of hate that may be coming her way. But there are a lot of different perspectives. I've read a lot of different theories and things about what's going on. So it's pretty interesting.
I'm gonna ask you about that after the break because your art invokes a lot of perspective.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that when we come back. Watson Beer is our guest in the studio. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We're going to talk more about his art, see some more, and get his perspective. Be right back.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made this vacation happen.
Double points with every purchase?
Cleverly merging promotions.
Love it.
Cross-referencing travel sites. And booking all your flights with those...
Vouchers. I got us bumped.
They were like, oh. But now they're like... Aloha. You aced this vacation. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
We are neighbors and best friends.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Our family is no less than any other family.
Back on Perspectives, our guest in studio, Watson Meir, artist extraordinaire who's really taking America and literally the world by storm with a lot of his work. And are you ever surprised by the fact that your work is just catching fire wherever you are?
Yeah, it is very surprising. Like I said, I've been creating art my entire life, but been more so pushing it forward for the past 3.5 years, and just the way it's been picking up it's been quite surprising, to be honest with you.
And when we talk about that King piece, I think you told me earlier that the piece that you did with King and Trump was a piece that you did, and it got a lot of traction this year.
Yeah,
but it actually was done the year of the inauguration.
Yeah, it's crazy how this year it kind of went further than it did within the first year. So it's been pretty crazy to see it had that consecutive type of, I guess, blast power within like 2 years in a row, I would say.
Is that a message you have for other artists? I mean, when you think about it, you do something, you hope that it sticks and it moves, but it didn't really get traction until about a year and a half later. What message do you tell younger artists who are trying to do what you do?
I would say just keep going with it. A lot of people, if they don't see results immediately, they kind of give up, they kind of hold back. But if it's something that you're really passionate about and it's something that you have a vision in terms of what you ultimately want to do with it, you just got to keep going, because all it takes is just one. Right. Before this, there was hundreds or maybe 1,000 drawings that I did, 100 paintings, but this was the one that, it sent things to the next level, I would say. So just keep with it.
I want to take a look at some more of Watson Meir's work. If you haven't seen, he's a tremendous artist, uses the African diaspora and the things that he does. And we showed a couple of pictures earlier. I think we got a couple more that we'll get up and let me share your perspective on this one. I think I know this guy here. Yeah,
Yeah, this is obviously from Black Panther, the character Killmonger. Within the actual movie, a lot of people, he had so much passion. He was so driven by a lot of things. One thing that they don't really focus on, the things he was driven by, a lot of the atrocities that African people have gone throughout the past 400 or 500 years. And I kind of wrote some of these things. One, like I said, for me personally, that kind of triggered me, and most of the thing I was do was, you can see the first headline there says Trayvon Martin's murder found not guilty. These are things that kind of really get people in their feelings in terms of how he was within the movie. And as you read on, there are more different things in terms of the Berlin Conference of 1884. There's a lot of different headlines on there that I more so just wanted people to look up, because there are a lot of these things people don't really know about. Right. And it's not just African people. I want different cultures as well to kind of see
to raise the consciousness.
Raise awareness, raise consciousness. Because a lot of people are wondering why are they, what are they angry about? Why are they mad? These are the reasons we are mad. These are the things that has happened to us that still have a result. Because these things don't die off when our ancestors die off. These are trauma is within your DNA. Within your DNA, you don't just take on the facial aspects and the physical aspects of that individual. You take on any type of trauma that they went through as well. So these are some of the things that are affecting us even today, even though they happened hundreds of years ago.
And I did some investigative journalism. I see right there that you said that Philly, the police dropped the bomb on Philadelphia. Now Philadelphia is home for you, or was home for you.
Yep.
How did that obviously that impacted you, that you had to drop it on there?
Yeah, that's something that I really didn't know a lot about until I actually lived within Philadelphia, and people talking about they actually dropped the bomb on an entire neighborhood. A black neighborhood. Just hearing about that story, I was like, why have I never heard of this? Why isn't this something that's been circulated within history and history books and things of that nature, or at least the news? So it's just something that I knew with that character Killmonger, especially with the power that Black Panther had. I knew it would spread out, and people would possibly look up some of these things and learn and see what's going on and not talked about.
So with all this great work that you're doing, tell me about where people have the opportunity to see your work now. I know you've moved and you've come over, and welcome to New York. Good to have you here.
Yes, happy to be here.
You moved to New York, but talk to us now. Is the hope that you'll be able to launch out and do more being here in New York?
Yeah, definitely. Hoping to do a lot more shows here. I've already done an exhibit at the SK Art Space over in Brooklyn, but definitely looking to branch out and doing a lot of different shows, pop-up shows, different exhibits, possibly some museums as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Is there a place in particular that you say, I really want to be there?
the MoMA. If I can make it into there eventually, that would definitely be a dream.
Now, looking at your art, I mean, it's very impactful. Talk about Haiti, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But talk to me about how long does it take you for each piece?
Yeah, my process is kind of very strange. Like I said, I've been creating art since I was a child. But I remember I was maybe in the 7th or 8th grade. My parents they brought a computer home. And my brother was playing around with it, and I've been drawing on paper. Basically, if I had a sheet of paper or an assignment, I'll draw on a blank sheet of the paper. But I saw there was a program in there called Microsoft Paint, and I was like, oh, what's this? And so I still remember the very first drawing that I did on it. So basically, ever since then, I've been continuously using Microsoft Paint. So I was probably like 12 years old now. I'm 31, so that's well over the 10,000 hours like that they say you need to put into something. So I've been creating art on Microsoft Paint ever since then. So typically it takes me 2 weeks to sometimes a month, sometimes over that to create a piece. However, my brother's keeper I actually did in 4 days.
Really?
Yeah, I really wanted to get it out before the inauguration. So yeah, it took like 4 days to do it. I didn't sleep.
So what is it like to see your work and to actually take a look at it and have other people look at it? Are you like for me, I don't like watching myself on television. I'm not just my biggest critic, right? But when you see yourself and when you see your work out there, what's it like for you?
To be completely honest with you, once I put it out into the world, I kind of disconnect from it. I don't read any comments. Because I don't want to be molded and fazed by anyone's perspective, whether they be negative or positive. Because I know my original intention when I created the piece. So I like to just put it out there, and I don't really like giving a description of what the piece says or what it means. Because I like the viewer to actually come before it. Any type of experiences that they've had, they can come up with their own description of the piece from their own perspective.
Yeah, I like that from their own perspective. There it is. Yeah. You had one particular piece about Harlem, and that stuck with me. Okay. Because when you talked about Harlem, you referred to gentrification. And what you saw. Give me a little bit about what you've been seeing and how that impacted you. That piece.
Yeah, definitely. The piece is called Gentrification. It actually was provoked from the very first time I actually came to New York. Came to New York for the first time, visited a friend 4th of July weekend in 2016. She lived in Harlem, and she was kind of just walking me through the area. And she actually, we walked past where they were building up a Whole Foods, and there was a Starbucks right across the street, and they were like, yeah, this is what gentrification looks like. They're starting to push us out of Harlem. And when I think of Harlem, I think of the Harlem Renaissance. I think of Langston Hughes. I think of the Lennox, like the Lennox Lounge, and the stories that I've heard of, like all of these different, high, like these people from in history in Africa. I mean, the African Americans that they hang out in the Lennox Lounge. So when I think of like the headquarters of Black America, I think of Harlem, and just to see that we're actually being pushed out of our home, I would say. It was something. So I definitely wanted to create a piece that kind of like just talked about this. There's nothing to me when it comes to different nationalities or different demographics coming into a neighborhood. There's nothing wrong with diversity, but when it's to the point where you're pushing out not only the people but also the culture, I think there's a problem, and it's very reminiscent of something that people don't like to talk about. Christopher Columbus, when Columbus landed in Hispaniola, where Haiti is, they came in peace with the natives. They came in peace. They gave their offerings. The natives gave them offerings, but sooner or later they completely wiped these individuals out, pushed them out of their own home. So I just like people to look at history when they look at some of these things. Not saying that this is what's possibly going to happen, but when you start to push people out of their homes, push their culture out as well, I feel like that there's a problem. There's a way that you can like come in and you can like. Someone's already established here. You're actually living under their household. So when it comes to the point where you're actually just wiping out an entire demographic of people and they have to like go elsewhere and start over, I think that there's a problem there.
Yeah. Watson Mir, our guest here on Perspective. Stay with us. Have a few more minutes with him. He's going to give us some final thoughts when we return right after this.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally.
I did. Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands?
My son has lots of dolls.
But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that strollers have the right of way on a sidewalk?
Yes. Yep, I did. Did you guys
Did you know that kids who eat breakfast have higher GPAs?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. That's actually what I was going to say.
Did you know babies should never touch silver? It's really bad for them.
I knew that.
Did you guys know that statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected.
I'm putting that on my blog.
I just put it in mine.
Watson Mir, our guest in studio, talking about his great artwork and how it inspires conversation. And I do say that because, you know, I've been in a lot of circles and watched and saw some of your pieces and been around people who've actually had great discussion that led into, you know, sometimes even full-blown arguments about it. Yeah. Is there something in particular that you look at today and say, I want to deal with this next, or, you know, on your short-term list?
Definitely. I would say like to look more into just in terms of what's going on in terms of mental health with a lot of us. We're dealing with a lot of trauma, I would say, especially nowadays. It just seems like we're back in the 60s. So I know a lot of us are just dealing with a lot of this. And, you know, some people are dealing with it in different type of ways. So just put a lot more focus on that. Like you said earlier, definitely, since moving into the New York City area, now I'm actually in the forefront of seeing gentrification happen before my eyes. So definitely like to focus on some of that a lot more, but just continuously telling our story, telling the story of African people, no matter where we are, in America, in Africa, in Europe, wherever we are. I'd just like to continue to just give our perspective.
Where are people checking your work out now? Nowadays, where can they go?
Sure. Mostly my work is shown on Instagram. It's artofmere_. It's ARTOFMERE_. Also, I have a Facebook, Art of Mir, just Art of Mir. I have a website as well. It's artofmere.com, ARTOFMERE.com. And that's about it. I'm also, like I said, I'm new to the New York City area, so I definitely will be doing a lot more exhibits, a lot more shows. Most of the time, I'll be kind of announcing that on my Instagram or my Facebook. So, yeah, so I'll be in the city.
That's it. And look forward to seeing you and really coming out and, you know, even in a further, because what I've seen of your work is that it's transcending culture. And it's transcending different, you know, demographics, and that conversation continues to emerge in places and spaces where you probably don't even recognize that they're going on just by an image, and an image is worth 1,000 words and a 2-hour conversation. But for you, what do you want people ultimately to take away from your work?
What I want people to ultimately take away is two different perspectives. I want, like, if you can relate to this, I want you to see yourself. If you're African in any type of way, I want you to be able to see yourself. I want you to see your story. I want you to see your ancestors' story. So I just want the image to speak to you. And if you aren't of African descent, I want you to understand what we're going through. We've been through a lot. I want you to feel it. If I can allow you to, if I can transfer the energy that we're feeling, that we try to hide with the way we dance, the way we laugh, the way we have fun. It's kind of more so of a Band-Aid or putting over the pain that we're really feeling. So I want, if you're not of African descent, I want you to feel what we're feeling in any type of way. Whether if it's a positive piece or it's a piece that's talking about some of the negativity that we're going through. So those are the two different, I guess, aspects that I want people to take away.
And Haiti is very passionate to you. Of course, you're of Haitian descent.
Yes.
And all that's going on in Haiti, will we see anything else coming from?
Oh yes, definitely. Just this past weekend, it was the Creole Image Honors, and they actually awarded me with the Jean-Michel Basquiat award, which was crazy to me because I'm obviously a huge Jean-Michel fan. He was actually the first black artist that when I started doing research on black artistry. He was the first artist that I saw when I Googled black artists, and I've been just learning about him ever since I was a child. So to receive that award was huge to me. But definitely will continue to create more art pertaining to Haiti. And this year I would like to do more for Haiti in terms of visiting, volunteering in any type of way, donating money. If my art can start to get some more funds, definitely would like to send a lot of those funds to Haiti as well if I can. So
yeah, I got some people I can connect you to. There's some great stuff out there
in
Haiti, and we've done shows for Haiti. As a matter of fact,
awesome.
We were actually honored with the Telly Award for our coverage for the work that was going on, the recovery efforts in Haiti. So, yeah, it's a passion to us too. That unfortunately, when the cameras leave, that's when a lot of stuff leaves. But the struggle still continues.
It's never left.
Never left. No. I know. Watson Beer.
No.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, man.
It's been a pleasure having you.
No, thanks for
now, as you continue to blow up, don't forget, you can come back here and sit down, talk to us, let us know what's going on. All right?
Man. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for having me, man.
Thank you, man. No. Watson Beer, our guest here on Perspectives. And listen, thank you for watching. And of course, you've got the information at the bottom of the screen where you can check Watson's work out. I'm sure that, if you want to catch him on social media, and now that he's moved to the New York area, I'm sure that you'll be able to catch him in an exhibit somewhere around. Listen, that about wraps it up for us here on Perspectives. Until next time we meet, stay safe. Share your perspective with somebody else. You never know. It just might make a difference in somebody else's life. For all of our staff, producer Curly Burton, Lindsay, the whole crew. Hey, take care. God bless. See you soon.
What's your perspective? Let them know.
What's on your mind?
Let 'em know.
Express what's on your mind. What's on your mind?